I guess he got up that expansion just a little bit faster, getting it up around 6 minutes. So that's pretty interesting. Obviously, it's going to work in this case because he was able to scout and figure out that Tourettes does not have any sort of further tech going on, and he's made the correct guess, and that Tourettes is just choosing to drone up a lot, really. He actually is ahead of TLO and drone count. Now, that, of course, could prove to cost him as these units are coming in and moving down. No spine crawler yet, so we'll have to see what Tourettes can do to hold this off, really, because Tourettes is going to... I don't know what Tourettes is going to be able to do to hold this off. 1, 2, 3, 4... Bunch of units here for TLO. Do we see anything producing? He popped about 3 roaches. That's not going to be enough to hold this off. I'm not incredibly sure what Tourettes is going to be able to do here. He really should have thought about throwing up a spine car or something. And here we see TLO pushing up at the standard timing. He's got the sentries right here, looks like, just to make sure they can force field that ramp this extra couple seconds. And TLO's stuck chasing these drones away. TLO throws down another force field, very nice, and now he's just going to run the sentry away because of how valuable sentries are. And really, if TLO manages to get all these drones, that's going to be a huge win. I mean, we can just see from the income tabs, actually Zerg's income's fairly high, and hopefully if he can save these drones, it's not going to be too bad. Doesn't quite have enough, as it's about 16 mana, not enough energy for anything like a force field. Got about 4 roaches. He's going to be popping even more. He actually didn't lose that many. Drones. I'm quite surprised. So he's actually very much still in this. He did lose a lot of mining time, but it looks like he's only lost exactly 12 drones, seeing that I don't believe he made any other units before that. And so with those 12 drones lost, he is set a little bit behind. The harvester count's a little more even, which of course favors Protoss with their chrono boost and their ability to get extra units. We see a fully saturated base here, and he's got, looks like 1, 2, 3, throwing down 2 more warp gates. So this is going to be some sort of 5 warp gate timing attack, looks like, with no other tech in his base. Going ahead getting +1, whereas your Zerg player is going ahead and getting tunneling and burrow. So that actually is a very good defense against this 5-gate attack, mostly because you have to force tech from Protoss, or that's one of the things you can do is force tech from Protoss. And Burrow, and if he's going 5-gate, even though Zerg doesn't know he's going 5-gate, but if he did know, Burrow's not a bad thing to go. I would like to see him build a few more roaches, though, as right now it looks like it's going to be a pretty close battle here between these stalkers. TLO's wisely, I think, going to choose to pull back, wait until his 5 warp gates kick in, and then exploit that advantage that he's going to get from those exploit the massive amount of units he's going to be able to get from those 5 warp gates. See 5 more roaches being produced, for a total of 14. He is beating him in Harvester, so this is actually kind of interesting and from Tourettes in that he's able to sneak out so many drones. And that'll be great if he can survive this timing attack. You can see, actually, TLO is doing a variant. Noni was playing around with this much earlier. He was playing around with this 5-gate timing attack, where you chrono some of your gateways, and you can see TLO doing that, just to get out that extra spread of units that much quicker. He's at 89 and 92. He's got, he is building 1 more pylon, but it looks like he's going to be stuck attacking while supply capped. It's going to be interesting to see if Tourettes can figure out how to defend this. He does have Burrow finished. He's going to have to pop up very quickly. Maybe he'll snipe all the sentries. Yes, he does. Very nice play. And without the sentries, I think the roaches will be able to take this out pretty easily. Very nice play by Tourettes. And actually, yeah, it looks like he's just going to take this out no problem. Very, very nice place. TLO, to his credit, is pulling out those 2 sentries, which is quite nice. Saving all your sentries that you can, they get more valuable as the game goes on. So really, even though he just lost that attack, Tourettes managed to defend that very nicely, and it looks like he has an equal number of harvesters, which means that the Zerg macro can start kicking in. I don't think TLO's in that bad of a position. You can see him start taking up to Stargate, dual Stargate, to deal with all the roaches. It'll be interesting to see if he chooses to get Void Ray or if he chooses to get Phoenixes. Now, remember, this is before the patch. So before the patch, the Phoenixes took 10 seconds longer to build, 10 in-game seconds longer to build, and so because of it, Phoenixes were a little harder to use and not quite as good. However, Void Rays did also have speed, so it'll be interesting to see if that tech will even actually manage to kick in before he has to defend right here. See him getting a bunch of cannons at the front. That should help him tunneling under, but you know what? Cannons still have detection, and with those force fields, they just move so slowly. Still has about 3 more force fields left. Look like 2 or 3 more force fields left. Tourettes is taking a bunch of damage from these cannons. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but he's gonna pop up. It looks like he's gonna nail it. I'm not sure about that play from Tourettes, because if we go ahead and look at the resources tab, you can see that in the supply difference, he is beating TLO by quite a large amount of supply, but a lot of it really is in army. And so as he loses a bunch of that army to a bunch of cannons, I'm not quite sure how it's going to end up playing out for him. We see him just rallying more and more roaches. He's also picked up his third, but TLO has actually stopped mining from his natural because he's afraid of losing probes. He just goes ahead. I'd like to see him hit. He's doing a really good job here of, Tourettes is doing a really good job harassing right outside of the range, shooting down that additional geyser. TLO is stuck on the back foot, but looking at the income tab, we can see actually that Tourettes is quite far ahead. Now, it'll be interesting to see, looks like he's pumping Void Rays right here, as we can see from the production tab, and he is getting a +1 air attack as well, so that should help him. With that +1 air attack, it should be able to fend off these roaches just fine. Now TLO is trying to hold this off for as long as possible while letting his Void Ray numbers blow up to critical mass, because at this point TLO knows that he's fairly far behind, and he wants to make sure that when the Void Rays come out, he has enough of them to do maximum damage. You can see he's going to go ahead and show them right now, just because he's going to have to use them to defend. Tourettes looks like he's just going to go ahead and press him for the attack. These sentries are going to be key for slowing down that attack, but it doesn't look like any of them have enough energy. The roaches are still taking down cannons. I really would have liked to see him take down probes or something, but that's alright. And the Void Rays looks like these roaches are gonna do a bunch of damage, but you know the Void Rays are gonna be able to fend it off, and that's the really important part. Even if they can't see these roaches when they're burrowed, so these roaches are just gonna continue to be annoying, snipe off all of the ground army. Does Tourettes have any sort of tech? He's actually building corruptors, and he's getting another hatchery over here, as you can see. Between that other hatchery at 9, he's just able to expand over and over again, and TLO is definitely stuck on the back foot, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to. He's just getting a robo now, so he's really not going to be able to leave his base until that robotics is finished and an observer is finished, because of the burrow play that Tourettes was able to do. That burrow play, it really does force tech from Protoss, and it really allows you to, gives Zerg a lot more freedom. Although, as you see, I feel like Tourettes could have made a little bit more use of that by doing more damage to, say, TLO's economy. Although, as you can see, the harvester count is so different and the income tab is so different that I think that, quite frankly, that if Tourettes can figure out how to fend off these Void Rays, he's going to end up winning the game. And so the difference in the Void Rays and whether these Corruptors can do enough damage is going to be key. It looks like he's got about 7 Corruptors, but that's not going to be enough against 7 Void Rays. I don't think. I think the Corruptors are just going to die. I don't know why the Roach is sitting there. He really, really needs Hydra against this number of Void Rays. And you can just see these Void Rays are going to eat it up. And that actually is going to lead to a comeback from TLO, as I don't think Tourettes is popping enough of the right unit. He's getting 6 more Corruptors, but he just doesn't have enough, missing a Larva Inject right here in the middle of battle. TLO is left with 5 more Void Rays, and you know he's gonna get this. He's gonna get this hatchery, and it's leaving Tourettes right here with no other choice but to counterattack. No other choice but to counterattack, and you can see that he's gonna take down those cannons, and the Void Rays I think are gonna be able to do enough damage, take down the gold, and then go back to be able to defend. And you see, it's like TLO is reading my mind. He's able to go back and defend. We see he's actually pumping out 2 Immortals. And those Immortals are really going to do great damage against these Roaches, but not in that large numbers when you have no other units to soak for it. You can see these Roaches are just living against these probes, no problem right there. But the Void Rays are going to be able to come back, clean it up, but he does still have no observers. So Tourettes is going to be able to pop up and just be super annoying the entirety of the rest of the game. Really unfortunate, but that's how the game goes for TLO. He is, however, by taking out that gold hatchery, he did put the income a lot more similar. Looking at the income tab, it's much more similar. Given the harvester numbers, actually, TLO is going to have to transfer some of them over, but I think that with less expansions, you see that TLO has already cut almost all of his probes. There's no need to produce more probes at this point with only 1 more mining base. Really, for Tourettes now, I'd really like to see him. Is he going Hydra? No, he's still going Mass Corruptors. And here's the thing, especially in this for the game, you see another Stargate going up for TLO, and he's going ahead and getting even more. He actually cancels the other Stargate. Looks like he's going to switch away from Void Rays upon seeing the additional I'm guessing that he can sense the additional Corruptors that are being built here to deal with this Void Ray threat. Interestingly enough, that's actually only 16 Corruptors, and there's 82 drones out on the field. We actually see Tourettes looks like he's just droning up too hard, and that's one of the reasons why he's going to lose the game. He should know that with the